in my background what the topic is, because I always have my little backdrop slash thumbnail up. But before we get started, please do like this video. If you are new to this channel, welcome, welcome. You get the jazz hands. And of course, if you guys are not new to this, you guys are true to this, I always say, thank you, much love. And then, like I say, for you guys that are new, first time clicking on, do hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that anytime any new content is uploaded, you will be the first to check it out. And then also have an opportunity to join me on future lives just like this so that it's more of a conversation. But for you guys, TGIF, I know you guys did not expect to see your girl on here on a Friday, but it's all good. I'm actually really happy to be joining you guys. And the topic here, I think most of you all probably knew it was coming, because how can you cover MJ topics and not eventually get to his relationship with Diana Ross? And yes, you all are reading the topic correctly. I do say a love story untold, because it was kind of that. It was kind of a love story untold. And do feel free to leave your own thoughts. Again, this is my own opinion. What I'm sharing, I'm going to share tidbits of what I understand to be facts, and then just overall just give my opinion on it, my own personal opinion. But yeah, so to you guys, happy Friday, TGIF. But let's dig into this. I don't know for how long this live will be. Might possibly be a little short and sweet, but at least I'm on here and covering a pretty good topic here. Now, before we really dissect this, let's just look at the fact that Diana and Michael Jackson are from an era, they're from a time where celebrities were very conservative, to a sense, to a certain degree. Even if you look at throughout Michael Jackson's career, even when he was put into really I guess you could say dire. Oh yeah, you know what, you guys, I didn't do a mic check. I'm sorry, not to be ADD, but I did not do a mic check. I hope you guys can hear me. If you guys cannot, eventually I'm hoping someone lets me know that the mic is out. But yeah, I'm just gonna roll with it. But anyway, if you look at throughout Michael Jackson's career, even when during the commercial, the Pepsi commercial, okay, and we know what happened, his hair caught on fire. Here he is still being a true showman, a true celeb, and still waving through the pain, bandaged up on his way to be put into the ambulance, or was it from the ambulance, on his way to the hospital. He's still waving. He still kept that class. When Michael Jackson was on tour, live stage performing, and here it is, the stage that he's on is coming down, he's still singing, and that is because still I think that they were from an era where a celebrity puts their fans first. They do all the right things, they wave to the crowd, they keep a good persona, good attitude throughout, whatever. Now nowadays, okay, let's they're from a different era. Nowadays, celebrities go out of their way to be controversial. They'll go out of their way to do something to I can't even say put their name in the paper, because now it's more like they'll do something to go viral or just to be a hot topic for a while, even if they have to put out their own adult tape, okay. A lot of celebrities are all about these days about controversy, and being scandalous, and one trying to top the other. Back then, a relationship, and they had a 14.5-year difference between them. Diana being, 14 and a half years, Michael Jackson Sr., a relationship like that could have been potentially a career ender for Diana, right? And she wasn't just, Keisha or Susiana from down the block. She is still a huge celebrity in her own right, and still about building her own career and keeping up her own, like, you know, celebrity persona, like not for it to be shrouded in a lot of controversy that could have been a career ender. With that being said, that little backstory, you know, I didn't, you know, like I say, I've never claimed to be an expert, not a Michael Jackson expert, just more so a fan. And you know, as I kind of dig through a lot of MJ topics, I had been hearing like people like make comments and say things like, "Oh yeah, Diana, that you know, you know, she's the one who groomed him and da 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 da, whatever." Now, yes, it's true. I think that their relationship was very interesting, to say the least, because you know, originally back 1969, you know, all the way up through the late 70s, or 1969, I guess, into the mid early 70s. You know, Diana was still like looked at as a mother figure to Michael Jackson. So that's just kind of, you know, a little bit strange. That I would say that their relationship definitely transcended a lot of different frameworks, you know, from mother to more to like friend. And they say that that is the way that Michael Jackson's mother, Catherine, described MJ discussing Diana, like from like literally calling Diana like mom, mama to girlfriend to friend. So that's interesting in and of itself. But yeah, so let's just kind of like, before I really get into it, let's just go to the backstory of this. Now, it was said that Diana discovered the Jackson 5. You know, she was the one that helped to discover Michael Jackson and, you know, bring him into Motown with Berry Gordy. Maybe not. I also heard that it wasn't actually Diana, but it was more Gladys Knight and some other lady, a Suzanne Passe or Pat. I don't know quite how to pronounce her name, but it was supposedly another. There were other artists, and we know Gladys Knight. That's my girl. I love me some Gladys Knight. But it was actually Gladys Knight and a Susanna, whoever, who actually discovered Michael and his brothers. But they say that it was more like a PR, not even a PR stunt, but just more of like a PR move on Berry Gordy's behalf to have it more so presented as Diana's discovery. Regardless of the fact, whatever, 1969, when MJ and his brothers were, you know, signed to Motown or whatever, they moved from Indiana, Gary, Indiana, to California. But in that period of time, they had to have their family home built in Encino. And during that time, it was said that Michael Jackson and his brothers stayed with Diana. I personally, I don't think, oh, we can't have my background go out. I personally do not think that anything, you know, and I could be wrong, but I don't think anything like sexual or romantic went on between Diana and Michael Jackson back then at all. I think Michael Jackson was just more so had like that boyhood crush on Diana. She recently had a birthday and still looks fantastic. I mean, like, oh my God, like she's in her, what, her 80s or late 70s, 80s or something now, but she still looks amazing. She still looks fantastic. So, you know, we can imagine that Michael Jackson at that time, who I think they say he was like 11, but they wanted, you know, as I think quite often it happens in Hollywood where celebs have to say they're younger than they actually are. I think he was like 11, but they wanted to present him as being 9 years old or something like that. But regardless, he was still children. Okay, he was still a child. So I guess it was more like a boyhood crush than anything. But I mean, Diana's always been stunning her entire life, and I think that, you know, she still looks very young. She still looks great. So even though at that time, her being an older woman, still she wasn't like, he might have been calling her mama, but she still very beautiful woman. Okay, so then we have that. As he gets older, we're jumping forward to the Wiz, and a lot of this, like I say, is hearsay. No one ever formally sat down and talked about, or I should say, Michael Jackson never formally and sat down and talked about any kind of romantic relationship that he had with Diana. I think they both, even when Diana does talk about it, is kept in a very like, still mothering, maternal type of energy when she speaks of Michael Jackson, which is what I always thought that it was. I never really knew too much about their relationship. I just, knew Michael Jackson and that Diana Ross was, from the Supremes or whatever. Like, I don't really know a lot about that. But still, like I say, Diana has always, whenever asked about her relationship with Michael Jackson, it always came off like, like MJ and his brothers were her discovery, and still she took them under her wings as, like her children, okay, all right. I don't know. Now, supposedly, and this is also gossipy or whatever, but I mean, this is what we have to go off of. But I'm thinking there's some truth to it. In 1977, the filming of The Wiz. Well, first of all, they say that Diana really fought hard to get that role, not because she wasn't deserving of it, just because at that time she was like 31 or 33. I think she was like 31, early 30s, which was considered, like, especially in Hollywood at that time, too old to play that part of Dorothy. But she got the role nonetheless. And upon getting the role, she was very adamant that she wanted Michael Jackson to have a part in it. And, he was cast in it as the Scarecrow. Now, it's said, word on the street, and not to be so gossipy, lighter topic. Toxic, at least my understanding of it, that kind of romance love where there's a runner, there's a chaser. I'll explain more later, and I'm going to dive back into The Wiz where I left off. But, runner, chaser, and then the runner slows down just enough to give the chaser a little hope, throws him a little whatever, throws him a bone, and then goes back off running, so it's like a relationship never really progresses, like that kind of toxic push pull, and it never, you look up years later and nothing has progressed. It's just toxic, which, okay, so in that case it's not as like cute romantic, I guess, but I think there was reasons for that without going off too far. For it being like that push-pull because of the era that they were from, as celebrities. Like now, as I mentioned before, I mean, my God, like a celeb will, I don't know, tap dance, in the middle of Times Square if it means they could get a little press. Like, I mean, I'm being silly, but you feel me? Like celebs really go out of their way to be controversial just to get like a little bit of attention, which back then it was very different. But yeah, okay, so let's go back. I don't want to go too far off. You guys that are, like I say, not new to this but true to this, you guys know how I'm kind of all over the place, but let me focus. But so with The Wiz, so 1977, she's cast as Dorothy. Michael Jackson, he comes aboard as the Scarecrow. Now, around that time, Michael Jackson should have been about 19 years old, okay? And at that time, she's about 31. Now, Diana, we know that she looks fantastic in this picture. Heck, she might have been in her 40s, and you see how fabulous she looks there, okay? So 31, yeah, but she probably looked like she was, in her, who knows, mid-20s or something at that time, or early 20s. Like, she looked still very preserved, very youthful, whatever. Okay, but So she's in The Wiz. She's cast as Dorothy. She's 31 years old. Michael Jackson is 19 at the time. Now it's said from insiders, those that were close to Michael Jackson, that he always really admired her. He thought that she was just like the most beautiful woman, most perfect woman ever. They had that chemistry, and really idolized her. Now, some say, which I don't believe that. Personally, I just don't. That's my opinion. You could have yours. That he got plastic surgery to look like her and all that. I don't think so. I think he just wound up getting a lot of, things, procedures done down the line. But I don't think that had anything to do with Diana. That's my own personal thoughts. But I think he really did admire her as like just being this just beautiful, fabulous woman who, career savvy, talented, charismatic. Like, I think like he was really like into her. Now, it's said by insiders that were close to Michael that it was not until he became of age, and it was not until, that around that time, around the Wiz time, that he was really able to act on a lot of his desires and his love for her. But they say he was very deeply in love with Diana. Now, supposedly on the set of The Wiz, and for those, some of you guys may already know, a lot of what I'm saying. If you do, cool. If you got some extra stuff to jam into the comments, please feel free to do so. But yeah, so supposedly on the set of The Wiz, one morning, and with filming, a lot of times they start very early, crack of dawn. Sometimes filming doesn't end until late at night, but they had early morning filming to do. No one could find Diana and MJ. They were nowhere to be found. And supposedly assistants were, trying to call them both, trying to get them both on the phone. Eventually they catch up with one, which I think they caught up with Michael to find that he was with Diana at his place. Okay. Just saying. But that doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, considering the fact that he and his brother stayed with her for over a year or almost a year or whatever in, California while their family home was being built. So it's not like they never stayed overnight. But supposedly during the filming of The Wiz, the two were said to really enjoy New York nightlife, that they were at Studio 54 all the time together, just kicking it, I guess, just enjoying each other's company, many nights out together. So, like I say, the filming the next day, where is Diana? Where is Michael? They find that they're together at Michael's apartment. They get together that same day. It said while they're together and they're on set. Now this is just word on the street that that Diana was overheard talking with her girlfriends on set and talking about MJ and saying that, I could tell you this, girl, he definitely, he ain't gay. Don't you all love how I just went into like a whole character when I did that? She probably didn't sound anything like that. But she was saying that, I could tell you this, he definitely isn't gay. And then though, whoever overheard it, the assistant or whatever, went to Michael and was like, did something go down between you guys? Like, what happened? Did you all do something? Like, and that he was just like, I don't know, you have to ask Diana that. And okay, so like, what does that even sound like? So people are asking her what's going on. And then after he's like, you have to ask Diana that, they ask Diana, and then Diana's like, you got to ask Michael that. So, I mean, come on. I mean, that's kind of like, unspoken but understood. Okay, something more went down between them. I mean, someone should have been able to say like, oh no, nothing. He's just, or no, nothing. We're good. We're not. It's nothing like that. Hey, what's up, Randy? Yep. So I'm thinking more like a boyhood crush. I'm reading. Oh yeah, and for you guys that are not joining this while it is live, and you guys are joining later or checking this video out later when it's not so live, please do look at the live chat, and then you guys can see when I go back and forth, like who or what is she talking to? I'm talking to the people that are in my live chat. But yep, Randy. So yeah, these are just my own personal thoughts. This is my own personal perspective on it. But yeah, I think that he definitely had like a boyhood crush on her when he was a boy, when he was, visiting in, or not visiting, but staying during the period of time while his family home was being built in Encino. I personally think that, he probably was in awe of Diana, very beautiful, glamorous celebrity that she was. And he and his brothers got to stay at her home, and then, as he got older and he was in The Wiz, and again, like I say, this is just word on the street, but he was able to finally kind of act on a lot of his desires, his affection, romantic affection for her. Now, check this out. Now, this is to what I kind of pieced together. Diana, when she was married to her first husband, this was 1971, and she got divorced in 1977. Same time as The Wiz. So it could have possibly been, if something actually did go down, it could have been like her newly divorced and like, okay, like, what's up, Mike? What's up? I'm just being so silly, but you know what I mean? Like, it could have been like, okay, I'm gonna kind of enjoy this newfound singlehood, and I got PYT here. I'm calling Michael Jackson Pretty Young Thing because, he was, I'm just saying, not saying it was right. But potentially if that actually did go down, I'm kind of piecing together the bits of the story, and I'm thinking like, okay, she was married from 1971, got divorced in 1977, right around 1977 was the whole Wiz time. Maybe potentially, possibly, shoot. She said, hey, all right, Diana's single, ready to mingle. I don't know, maybe. But through that, and it was also said that, Michael, and then this is also according to Jermaine, and I'm sure maybe some other close insiders that were close to Michael Jackson say that, Michael Jackson was very much in love with Diana and that they were actually engaged to be married twice. Both times she said yes. She wore his engagement ring, and there are some photos that you guys can find where she actually is seen wearing Michael Jackson's engagement ring. But both times she called it off. And it's believed that it had a lot to do with just the pressure of the amount of scrutiny and controversy that kind of relationship would bring. Michael Jackson, clearly he was ready to go all in. And, like unafraid of, whatever devil may care type of attitude. But Diana did care a lot about, her career. And it makes sense. Like, she wasn't just, as I mentioned before, and I made up an example, she wasn't whoever, Tasha from down the street. She wasn't just, Mary Ann from the block. She was, Diana Ross, and she still is Diana Ross. And at the time, that type of controversy, which now stars are looking for, even when there isn't controversy, that could have been a career ender changer. I'm gonna check out the chat in just a second. That could have been like a career ender. So it's said that both times Diana kind of backed up from that, and that the second time that they were engaged, Diana was ready to kind of really, take it to the next level, like really go through with it. And when it was presented to Mother Catherine, who was not really feeling it like that, which I kind of get, because it's a little weird, how the relationship, that she backed up from that. Oh, wow, really? That is so cute, Randy. I'm a Hallmark kind of girl. I love like stuff like that. That is so cute. You guys, later, for you guys that are not watching this live, do read Randy's comment down below because I think it's adorable. Randy got a chance to get married to his crush, right? That is so cute. 4 years older. Very cute. And I think, Mike, Michael Jackson, and maybe she would have if she didn't have so much pressure from the outside world, from being a celebrity is I'm sure probably pressurous enough, but without that extra added, like being called like a cradle robber, or because they had a 14.5 year difference, which now and you guys could put it down below if you guys know it, or if you know it, Randy, I don't know, but Cher, her boyfriend, isn't he like in his 20s or something like that? I think like currently, but Cher looks great. Cher looks freaking amazing. Cher looks like she's in her 30s, and the lady is 80. She's whatever age Diana Ross is. She's around that same age. And Cher presently has a PYT, pretty young thing, boyfriend, or I don't know if that's her husband, or if I don't know what level their relationship is at currently, but now things have changed dramatically. Like, people go out of their way to, although I don't think Cher's relationship with her now boyfriend or husband, yeah, he is very young. Yep, he's very young. I don't know how young. I think he's in his 20s. I'm almost willing to bet that he is. He could be in his early 30s, but I think he's like in his 20s. But Cher looks like she's in her 30s. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I mean, maybe I'm being a little dramatic. I don't feel like I'm exaggerating, but Cher looks a hella good. She looks very young, very, very young. But that kind of relationship, then, I mean, oh my God, like, come on, but that 14-year age difference that Diana had with Michael Jackson was a big deal. And, but yeah, so they were engaged twice. Both times Diana says yes, because I'm guessing clearly it's a mutual love. It's not just MJ feeling some type of way. She, clearly had to have loved, and I think probably still does, love Michael Jackson to have said yes. She said yes twice, but both times she had to back out of that. And they say Michael Jackson was very heartbroken, and that he was publicly heard as saying that, he hopes that she will marry him. But I guess it was now I got to refer to my notes, but I guess it was 1980. What year did she marry? Let me see. What year did Diana marry the Arnaz guy? Sorry, you guys know I got to go back to my little notes here, but she married this up 1986. So right around the Bad album time, when Michael Jackson, he's probably writing those lyrics up then. Dirty Diana song came out. And they say a few different songs that MJ did was inspired by his love for Diana. The Remember the Time, When We Fell in Love, Do You Remember? Okay, he was trying to jog her memory. And I'm not trying to be funny, you guys, but I'm just saying, like, it inspired a lot of his lyrics. Dirty Diana. The whole, if you go through the lyrics of the Dirty Diana thing, he says, "Take your weight off of me." Now, in 1996, at the American Music Awards, Diana, she's singing. She has on her little red outfit. And she had on her cute little blonde, little pixie, little hairstyle. And she comes over and she sits on Michael Jackson's lap. She's singing to him. Michael Jackson, he's just like, oh my God, you could just so like, oh, with her doing that. I don't think it was the first time that Diana sat on Michael Jackson's lap. Now, if I didn't know the backstory, I'd say, okay, well, maybe it's just a very affectionate, check out the chat in a second. Maybe it was just a very affectionate, mothering, I don't know. But, and still a little weird because, who sits on their son's lap? But you might not have put that much into it. But knowing the backstory, she probably, and I think they say, those that are close to Diana say she has a very flirty, charismatic type of personality. And I don't think that was the first time her singing. She sat on his lap and she's all cradling him and kissing him on his forehead and kissing him. And he's just like, it looks like he turned instantly into a little boy, like, oh my God. Um, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Oh wow, I didn't know you have cerebral palsy. But that is so cool. You got to attend some of the that is wow. I'm jealous, Randy. Randy got to actually attend the Bad tour concerts. Actually see MJ live, Bad tour. Wow. His mom got the tickets for his B-Day when he lived in Chi-Town. That is so cool. I know you have cerebral palsy, but that is, very cool. I'm glad that you had that opportunity. Unlike many of us that, just have the videos to watch. But that is so awesome. But yeah, but back in 1996, and I don't know if Randy, if you've seen it or if you guys that are watching this video now, and if you haven't, that's cool too. Type in American Music Awards 1996 Diana Ross, and then you guys tell me what energy you felt from that. But just given the backstory that they were supposedly, engaged twice to be married, that they had, you could say confirmed, unconfirmed relations while during the filming of The Wiz. Then look at the 1996 American Music Awards. Put it that way. And if you look at the lyrics in the Dirty Diana song where he's asking her to take your weight off of me. Okay. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to do it. But, you guys can look at the lyrics of Dirty Diana. But yeah, so she got married. They say he was heartbroken in 1984, which I guess would have been their second engagement, their second time being engaged. He, it was presented to, or at least it was said it was presented to MJ's mom, who was not feeling it, which I get it. I mean, but ultimately at that age in 1984, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, MJ should have been about 26 years old, which would have made Diana around 40-ish or something. I'm not real great with the math, so don't beat me up. But clearly both are of the marrying age, both are consensual adults. But the mom really wasn't kind of feeling it like that, Catherine. And I can understand, being the fact that he once used to call Diana mama, and then all of a sudden it goes from mama to my fiance, my girlfriend. But I think in the end, you should just want your kids to be happy and understand they are no longer kids, right? And just ultimately want that. But, maybe her, mothering, protecting instinct kicked in and she wasn't feeling it. Yep, I think so too. I have to agree with you, Randy. Most definitely. And I think that love never went away. It never went away. It just was one of those runner chaser. That's where it kind of becomes a bit toxic because, it's alleged that MJ could never quite really fully move on from her. And that when he was able to kind of move on, she would do certain things, at least they say, that would kind of pull him back in. So it's that kind of runner chaser relationship, which even if no one has ever been in one, we all have, watched movies or have friends that are in those, we understand the runner chaser, the someone's doing the chasing. I'm going to get her one day. She's going to marry me. And then it goes from, maybe someone does just enough to show their interest to give the person, reignited hope. And then it never goes anywhere, and the person's back running, the other person's back chasing, and look up years later and nothing has happened. And apparently, at least they say, that's the type of relationship that Michael Jackson had with Diana Ross. He did obviously go on to be married and in other relationships, but that just never died out. She got married on him. They say he was devastated. Supposedly, Michael Jackson was supposed to attend that wedding ceremony in 1986 when Diana was married. He was also supposed to perform, I think, sing something, and he called off at the last minute. And he kept it real. He was just like, he knows that, he's happy for her because she's happy, but he felt like he didn't know the guy, and he was a little jealous, and he couldn't attend. Respectfully, he could not attend. So, I mean, that in and of itself, that to me says more than mother-son relationship. I'm just saying. That's just what I think. But you guys leave your opinions down below. It's not a whole lot to go off of. But one thing I can say that I love, whether it was toxic or whatever, Diana, one thing she did that I really admire, she never spoke negatively about Michael Jackson. And even in an interview, and I think she may have done it more than once, but even in an interview where the interviewer wanted to kind of go in on Michael or make jokes or whatever, she said, like, you're not going to disrespect Michael Jackson in my presence. That's my dear friend. And we're not going to have that kind of conversation. Which is like, okay, like that is, I think you could say, really stand up of, her personality, regardless whether they had the runner chaser relationship thing happening or not. I like that. On the other hand, and for those of you all, you say what you want to say. Like I say, this is my personal opinion, but with Lisa Marie, now, I don't knock her. Maybe she just buckled under the pressure of it. But when Lisa Marie was interviewed by whoever it was, Diane Sawyer, after her divorce from Michael Jackson, she was asked, like, like, oh my God, like, what were you thinking? And like, how do you end up married to Michael Jackson? Like, it was a very critical type of level of questioning, and Lisa Marie put it in a way of like, oh, he has a way of really pulling you in and acting like he needs you, and like almost saying it in a way of like she was brainwashed into the relationship. She was, somehow led into a relationship that she didn't want to be part of. Hey, what's up, Marquise? I'm sure it was. I can only imagine, because he carried that hope. I was reading the part, Randy, where you're saying that he was probably really devastated upon hearing that Diana had gotten married, because he still held on to that hope that eventually they would be married. So I'm sure he was just devastated, and he was just not with it. And I'm sure she was still trying to keep it light and like still like keep him around as a friend, or just not have their relationship end completely. So she wanted him to, still attend her wedding ceremony and still to, perform or whatever, basically just be really good about it. And he's like, I am not feeling this. You're mine, and you didn't went off and you didn't got married on me. I'm crushed, I'm hurt, I'm devastated, and I'm not attending. I'm being extra dramatic, but I'm just saying, like, if I just had to just sum it up, I would say that was probably MJ's feelings on it, which I get. That's, I don't know. But yeah, so he didn't attend, and he said he was just a little jealous. He couldn't do that one. But yeah, you guys can leave your comments down below. What do you think? And like I say, to back up, because I was getting into Lisa Marie Presley, right? So I'm just saying, like, Lisa Marie Presley, God rest her soul. She was human, and maybe she just buckled under that kind of like intimidation when it came to like reporting or someone being, interviewing her, like, oh my God. And then after that question was asked, the next question was like, but I mean, you were married to him. Like, you know, his face, like his plastic surgery, like, oh my God. And Lisa Marie Presley was just looking like, like, I don't know, like, leave me, whatever. But I'm just saying, what I love about Diana Ross is that she did not buckle. She was being interviewed. The interviewer wanted to kind of take it into a direction that was more nasty in terms of like poking fun, making fun, talking real negative, real critical of Michael Jackson. And Diana Ross said, "You're not going to do that in my presence. Oh no, this is a friend of mine, and we're not going to have that kind of conversation." And I mean, damn, that's hats off to her. If it was the case that she kind of kept Michael Jackson strung along, that's not good. But just publicly, what is seen, what I saw, I thought that was really kind of like stand up of Diana. I really admired that much. But yeah, you guys tell me what you guys think of the relationship. Was there more? All the little breadcrumbs to me say a yes. And the fact that it was a yes, I think it's a little bit sad because that was never really able to be fully expressed. And I think if, there wasn't so much pressure, now that maybe she did buckle under the pressure of being a celebrity and potentially being called a cradle robber, and just receiving a lot of negative press with that at the time. Maybe she couldn't quite stand up when it came to that. But then again, she is very human, and she did have her own career to keep in mind, to uphold, and she did an excellent job of it because she's still the diva, the legend, Diana Ross to this day. And maybe, perhaps, possibly, if she had explored that marriage with MJ, maybe things would have went in a different direction. I don't know. Maybe she would have still been Diana, the diva, the icon. I don't know. Yeah, they did keep a lot of that hush hush. I have to agree with you, Marquise. A lot of that was very, unspoken, and like I said earlier in the live, and still now celebs go out of their way to put their what do they say, to air their dirty laundry out, because they want that little bit of buzz. They want to hopefully go viral or remain what do they say, remain valid, remain whatever the saying is. They're still trying to stay what's the word, y'all? I can't think of it. It don't matter. But they're still just trying to keep up a little press. I guess they say any press is good press as long as somebody's still saying your name. That's all they really care about. Now, back then, completely different story. And they did try really hard to keep things really hush hush. But yeah, they said in 1984, when they were kind of, their second engagement, when they were ready to kind of take it to that next level and maybe push it through, that, MJ's mom, Mama Catherine, wasn't feeling it. And they claim that she was the one that kind of alerted the press to their relationship and negative, they were starting to get negative feedback, which made Diana back off. So I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But now, please. I don't even think, if nowadays, like 14 and a half year age difference, if MJ had married, now I don't even think that would have been a topic of discussion. I mean, it might have been like, MJ marries Diana. Maybe they might have mentioned the age gap once or twice, but that's about it. Now they would have had to work really hard to make their relationship controversial, because now everything you could think of is out there. People doing all kinds of stuff. Yep. What did Randy say? Yep. I cried so much for his life being the biggest music icon ever. Yeah. I agree, Randy. I agree. I agree. And kind of sad in a sense, because maybe Diana could have been, again, you guys, like I say, who are not watching this live, do read the comments in the live chat. really good stuff, good information that's left down in the live chat, and a lot of really good thoughts. I agree. I think for Michael Jackson, who knows, if they had gotten married, maybe she could have been that strong backbone for him to really kind of hold him up through those more difficult times. Um, you know, I don't know. But I think at that time it was a lot of concern, at least, on her end, about not ruining what she had built, spent years building up her career. So I don't know, kind of sucks. And then too, like how you saying, how we're kind of getting into the what if kind of conversation. If you guys watched my live from yesterday, and I was talking a little bit about Paul McCartney, him toward the end of the live, I talk a little bit about Paul McCartney, like what would MJ's life have been like possibly had he not really collaborated with Paul McCartney, and that whole like, the acquiring of Neverland Ranch, and the acquiring of the ATV catalog and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. I got off into like a weird conversation, butterfly effect, like kind of conversation. But sometimes you do have to kind of reflect, and you wonder, like, how would things have been different? Curious. I don't know. But yeah, you guys, so like I said, this one is a little bit short and sweet. And I do appreciate Randy Marquise for making my live. And again, you guys, please do like this video. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Yeah, I know, right, Randy? Like, and what's really interesting? Like, I really enjoy covering a lot of MJ topics, but like a lot of it, like when I really get into it, I do think about the amount of isolation MJ must have felt at different times, and just him being an incredibly strong person, dealing with a lot of stuff. Sometimes it is kind of like not a downer, but it's just, you reflect and you think about that. Like, MJ was incredibly a tough-minded, strong individual. To deal with that level of scrutiny, isolation, and just a lot of stuff. But he loved him some Diana. He did. But I digress. But anyway, you guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I really appreciate all of the great comments coming from Randy, coming from Marquise. Next time, maybe you guys, whoever's watching, can join us in the chat. As well, like I say, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the bell. Anytime any new content is uploaded, you will be the first to find out, and maybe you can join me on a live, right? When you get that notification. But like I say, like the video, and now I'm going to do my Mr. Rogers turnaround. Okay, I'm being so dramatic, you guys. I'm going to do my little turnaround, and I'm going to walk you guys through my TikTok and my website. You guys can check me out on www.leilamichelle.com. Yes, he did. I think that, just lastly, I do think that Michael Jackson was definitely a people pleaser. Like, he was groomed as a celebrity to put his fans first, to put, others first, even when he was uncomfortable. Even, like, there's no footage of MJ flipping off the press. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, he always, even after, the accident, the Pepsi commercial thing, what he got out of that settlement, he put all of that money into the burn center where he was treated. You know what I mean? Like, basically got nothing out of it except for injuries that impacted his life up until his death. So MJ was always putting other people first. Always. So it's kind of unfortunate. Yep. MJ. Just saying. But yeah, so I'm going to do my Mr. Rogers. You guys can check me out on www. I think I did one too many W's, but check me out on leilamichelle.com. And you guys can also check me out on TikTok under Leila Michelle, while it is still, up and it's not banned in every single state. If you're courageous, check me out. Check me out on TikTok, and on Instagram is under I am Leila Michelle. You guys can check me out on there. And not that you guys need a Mr. Rogers walkthrough, it's just what I do. Okay, so I'm gonna exit out of this, And Payao. Let's get out of that. And this is what, if you guys go to www.lilamichelle.com, this is what my website looks like. On the side here is my icon, my little menu bar here. It has merch, it has media, contact. If you go to merch, it's going to, oh wait, no, this might actually take you all the way out of it, but it should do something. Let's see if it'll, my computer's a little bit slow, but if you go to merch, it has different merchandise that's up there. Support your girl, you guys. Buy a cup, buy a mug or something. And I'm gonna start having my own, I'm gonna start wearing my own merch, and I'm gonna also start drinking out of my own mug, you guys. Support your girl, okay? I'm just saying. T-shirt, something, okay? A water bottle, you guys. Do something. But it's all good. I understand. Believe me, I understand. It's all good. No worries. And then you guys can also support me on TikTok. Like I say, I am a celebrity entertainment content creator. Yes, that is a mouthful. Yes, it sounds over the top, but I literally do cover celebrities and entertainment. My YouTube just, somehow just became dedicated to MJ. But on TikTok, I do cover other celebs, but still, somehow they do loop back to MJ. They just do. But you guys can check out, I have content on there as well. And as always, I enjoy you guys so much. Thank you for help making my lives. Randy Marquise, and I will see you guys later. Bye. I had fun.